Hey, Spirit Island fans, Matt here, playing an interesting combo: Wind, Lightning, Travel River, and Ocean. And we're going to be going against France 6. This is, I think, a very strong combination, right? Lightning and River oftentimes work very well in partnership together, and these aspects are no exceptions. Broadly speaking, Lightning's boon, letting you slow to fast things, works really well with River's innate, which does a ton of damage in one land. And then, secondly, Boon of Vigor gives one energy per power card that someone played this turn. Lightning, it's very, very easy to get up to 4 card plays, or frankly, even 6 card plays. And so you're getting 4, 6 energy per turn. That can quickly go very, very nuts. Also, both of the spirits and aspects have fairly good pushing abilities. So Wind gets an innate that replaces its normal innate, but it's you and target spirit can each make one of your non-major slow powers fast. You can get +1 range. You can push up to 2 explorers from one of your lands, and 2 explorers, extremely good versus France because of the double explorers, and potentially repeating it. We're probably not going to be able to hit the bottom levels of this that early, but slow to fast every turn for someone else can be really strong, and that +1 range is really nice for Ocean. Uh, I think in my head this seems like a really, really powerful combination. I've played Lightning and River before, never these specific aspects. I've played uh, River with Ocean. It works well. I think this is going to be very fun. Okay, we need to figure out which land to add to. I tend to think adding to this because it has the town, so it has the potential to add more land, and it ultimately doesn't matter because we get things that we are not going to be able to use effectively. So we have to add 1 explorer to each each board. I tend to think that you should first add these to the land with the disease, and if the land with disease is already pickable, you should probably go towards something that has a beast because it's more likely to get picked off. So let's start thinking about opening hands. Lightning, I tend to play nothing turn one, just to sort of be able to, spread out a little bit further. I do think that that might be less important now. So we're going to have an explorer in a city and then an explorer in a town in the 2 lands here. So it might be, we're probably not going to be able to get rid of our city destruction innate. So this might be blighting, unless we can, draw into some very effective powers. But I think sort of in the long run, the plan is to get Ocean over here and to destroy it. So I, when adding the presence, the first thing that I like to think about is making sure that I have full coverage. We already have 5 of the 6 lands covered. If we go here, we get another 3, 4, 5 covered. This gives us like a big chunk of the board where we have range 1 coverage from sacred sites. So I'm going to do that. And I'm going to go straight bottom track for the assumption that we're going to get Boon of Vigor from River next turn. Okay. Travel River's unique shtick is that you can move to Dahan among its lands to any land that is contiguously connected. That's really powerful, and it sort of incentivizes us to create a river that stretches everywhere. And then if a land has 4 or more Dahan, it's considered a sacred site and has defend 1. So we're probably going to let this blight just to scale because we don't have any good solutions to it yet. Eventually we'll end up using massive flooding to solve it. But we want to sort of snake our way down here. So I think we're going to go here and then here. And I think we're going to play 1 card, Wash Away. Actually, let's do this slightly differently. We are not going to be able to self-target Boon of Vigor, so we do need to be a little bit more selfish with energy. So I think we are going to go a top track, bottom track, just to make sure that we start getting 2 energy a little bit earlier. And so next turn, that means that we won't hit the reclaim 1. So I like playing Wash Away, which solves this immediately. And then if we play something else, we can also push an explorer or town. So for instance, then maybe we could create Wash Away pushes the 2 explorers out, and the town gets pushed out of there. And then this is just 1 explorer into 2 Dahan, and it dies. So let's do River's Bounty to sort of begin creating more Dahan. Ocean. We're going to put our presence into everyone else's oceans right off the bat. That's fairly standard in a 3-player game. If you haven't, by the way, Ryan Lackey has a great video on Ocean where he advocates for top track in larger player games. I think it's fascinating. It changed how I think about the game quite a bit. So if you want to give that a look, I would recommend it highly. So we've got Call the Deeps, lets us gather and explore. We generally want to use this to gather into the ocean. We currently don't have any oceans that have 2 explorers, the sort of optimal France solution, so we're going to play that next turn. That means Grasping Tide, defend 4 in a coastal land. We can use that here. That solves that. So we're going to use that next turn, which leaves us to play these 2 this turn. Which, okay, we can push a town from a place where someone has presence. Are we going to have that is an interesting question. Maybe River needs to put its presence here so that it will have the Tidal Boon effect. I think that's like a good site. And then we're using this. We can destroy an Explorer Town Dahan. We could use it here, most likely. I think that's fine. This is, I don't really love this opening turn for us. This often happens when you don't get a lot of coastal explorers, right? There's 9 lands that are coastal and only 2 of them explored. And we already have solutions to most of them. So this is kind of a weaker turn. Giving someone energy, though, always good. River will strongly appreciate that. So let's go ahead and redo River's growth to instead add it here. And then we'll do River's Bounty and Wash Away. That way they can push that town. And we'll probably have a wasted Drown a Town. Kind of inevitable. Okay. Speaking of not having a ton happening on the coast, 5 of my 6 inlands are very unfortunately sands. Okay, so this is definitely going to get Call the Deepst, so we don't need to think about it much. The disease options aren't available, so let's go into here with the beast. This beast land is active, so we don't want to touch it. Let's see. I think putting one here is not the worst, and then here, oh, this is the last one. I guess somewhere that, oh, this, because it's going to get destroyed by, swallowed by the land dwellers. Okay. Tidal Boon to River. So now's the interesting piece. We could push one of these Dahan if we want to. We do want to keep one because the Explorer there will die. So pushing it into here, if we get some way to get a little defend here, could be really nice. We can also wash away out of this. I'm leaning towards washing away these 2 Explorers into here so that I just don't have to think about that land. We don't really have any good wash away targets that are, I mean, I guess I could go here to just push that stuff straight into the ocean and feed ocean a little bit stronger. The issue with pushing the Dahan into here without having the defend card ready to go is that, like, I don't know if we're going to actually have a good solution to this. So let's push them into, let's push one into there. Eventually this will come up and we'll be able to use the Grasping Tide to defend it. So I think that's the right move. This has no use. River's Bounty giving us an extra Dahan. I mean, maybe the answer is River's Bounty here so that this has 3 Dahan. You push 2 in, and there's an extra one there. No, I don't. That's too cute by more than half. Let's... Where did I use Massive Flooding on? Oh, I don't have any sacred sites. That's why I can't use Massive Flooding. I thought I'd already used it, but it's just that I don't have any sacred sites. Okay. So let's go back and add these in. Tidal Boon could potentially be used to create a sacred site. I don't know. That's, I mean, honestly, not the worst thing in the world. Um, yeah. Okay. I like this. River's Bounty gives us a sacred site. And now we can use massive flooding. We can only push an explorer or town. Um, I mean, let's see. Okay. We can push this explorer into here because it will die in the Ravage. And now Tidal Boon goes here. And we can push one of these out. And I think we keep the 4 so that it is a sacred site. Wash away. Let's we can full clear this with wash away. Just put all of our problems in one land so that we don't have to think about it unless we get the back-to-back. And then this doesn't have a target. Okay. So we're this is like the thing we're a little worried about, but we'll see what we can do there. Okay, we want to extend to other boards, and I think in particular we want to extend into here. And Boon of Vigor is going elsewhere. Flash Flood. I mean, we could use Flash Flood to solve that land entirely. I kind of like that. Ooh, no. If we have the presence here so that we can hit this with Flash Flood, it will die in the Ravage, which is unappealing to me. So let's go there. That gets a good amount of inland coverage. Okay. And now I think we're going straight bottom track here. We want within range 2 of these that gives as much as possible. I think this is this inland 7. And we cannot play everything because we don't yet have Boon of... Ooh. Let's do this a little bit differently. Maybe instead we do... Let's just do... there we only get range 1. I don't know, we could pop it like here. But this lets us play more of our cards. So I think we do want to slow to... I'm not sure if we need to slow to fast yet. That'll depend on what Ocean draws. But we are definitely going to want to use Shattered Homesteads to destroy this town. And I think there's a good chance we want to use Raging Storm on one of these lands to just get rid of 2 potential future towns. And so that means that we're probably using Harbingers. And we're getting 3 energy, so we will reclaim with 5 energy. Thanks to Boon of Vigor, the 1 energy from our tracks and 1 energy on reclaim. Now let's go over to Ocean. We're going to G3. And let's grab our power card first to see what we get. These are all horribly off element. I guess we get some moons. That's nice. Reaching Grasp plus 2 range on powers is really nice. That said, everyone gets plus 1 range, or 2 people get plus 1 range because of Exaltation of the Stormwind from Wind Lightning. So this just feels a little bit less necessary there. That said, Ocean, famously can't touch the inland, so it is kind of nice. Animated Rackroot Explorer Control is very strong. Delusions of Grandeur, Danger is more expensive Explorer Control, so I don't love that. Tormenting Rotflies, I think that Disease is really strong against France. I'm going to grab Rackroot, though, because it is... Well, I guess I don't really have to care as much about being cheap. Like, we have a good amount of ability to grab energy, most likely. Okay. So if we do this, these 2 each get a slow to fast. So we get a massive flooding push. I think this is like a good line. So add 1 presence to a coastal land. We are going to be able to hit just the, actually we don't hit any of the, that is unfortunate. We're not going to be able to hit any of the right innate because we did not draw a single stone. So, I mean, let's go out. And then we push one inland from each ocean. Okay. And I think we're just playing the full hand. All of these cards were either too expensive or didn't have stone anyway, so the innate is unfortunately a lost cause. Okay, Grasping Tide solves this land. We would ideally like to have another Dahan there, but I don't think that's happening. And then, and you can, by the way, see if we had been able to get one more air, we could start playing the push two explorers. So it would push these two out and then these two out, or we could push these two out and immediately into the ocean. You can see how it starts getting a little bit strong. So I think we are going to Exaltation River. And we only get one slow to fast, which I do think that we need to use to kill the town here so that this doesn't blight cascade. Because we're going to be taking 1, 2 blight, 3 blight from just sort of like letting things roll. We, took the scale to build turn with lightning. Yeah. Okay, and then massive flooding. I guess we could use massive flooding to push this explorer out, and then we could make something different fast, like Raging Storm, destroying some explorers so that we just don't have to think about them. That's kind of nice. Let's do the easy stuff first. Call to the Deeps. Ooh. We don't have any... this is actually quite inconvenient. We don't have the ocean to be able to gather 2 explorers into. That is rough. That's fine. So let's go back to presence placement, and we're going to, when we push from the ocean, we're pushing into here. This into there, and this into there. Okay. This at least lets us pull the explorer there. We get a little fear. Oh, I guess... I think I did that wrong. We can use Call the Deeps to pull that out, because it'll get destroyed there. And then we're using Flash Floods here. Boon of Vigor over to Lightning, and then Massive Flooding to push a town. And we're going to push that there. And we get 1 slow to fast now. I like the idea of trying to... I mean, we could just kill this town so that it... Or we could kill this town so that it doesn't build a city. Or we could kill... The next turn we are going to be able to play our full hand, I think? No, we're going to have 5 energy, so we won't be able to play Lightning Spoon. So we don't have a guaranteed city kill fast next turn. I don't know. I think stopping the blight here seems like a very appealing use of the power. We don't... Yeah. Let's... Yeah, I like this. In each coastal land, push and explore 1 land inland. Cool. Hate this. If this comes back to back, we are screwed. This is awful because it has to go into there, which feels very painful. And this is now going to Blight Cascade because there was no option out of this. Each beast generates 1 fear if invaders are present and moves to an adjacent land. If not, fear, fear. I don't know, move it in there. Push 2 Dahan from a land with Blight to a land without Blight. I don't know that we... Oh, wait, we do have one there. I guess we could go... I like that. And I guess we'll spread it into here to avoid it being on the coast and destroying presence. Okay. And we have to add an explorer. This one's easy because there's Dahan there that will ravage. This is easy because there's Dahan and it will ravage, and that only has one choice. Okay. Animated rack root from Ocean is destroy a explorer. Perfect. And now we can do some town destruction, some Raging Storm. We're at like the good stuff part of Lightning. Using Raging Storm to clear 2 explorers is like the ultimate feels bad, but against France, explorer control is a higher premium than against any other adversary. I like killing... Okay. Next turn, if we draw a 0-cost fire, because we have 5 card plays, we will be able to play it and hit the city destruction in 8, which kills this. So I think we shatter homesteads here and just assume that we're going to hit a 0-cost fire. Actually, a 1-cost fire would be fine because you can use lightning boon instead of shatter homesteads. Push 2 Dahan. I think if we push a Dahan into there, it kills the explorer. That's quite nice. Okay. Ocean, reclaim. Ocean does not have much energy, but we've got some interesting stuff. I like Elemental Boon. It enables some very strong stuff on Wind Lightning because it is somewhat hard to have that little... I guess Raging Storm gives you the first water, but it can basically turn into like an instant town or city kill. So I think there's a good chance we're going to pick Elemental Boon. Let's wait on it for a moment, though. We are reclaiming here, gaining a minor power, and we do get a 0-cost fire, exactly what we're looking for. Okay. And so with Elemental Boon, we get an extra city kill, or an extra town kill, and everyone gets to push 2 explorers from one of their lands. So we're basically denying 2 town builds. I think that's like probably one of the strongest effects that we can have for this matchup, so I like it quite a lot. The extra energy, probably really nice to give that back to River. I think that's a strong line of play. And then we need to gather 1 presence back into the ocean from River. Happy to gather this one. Gather that, doesn't have a choice. And this one, I think that makes sense. Okay. So now we need River, who is, I think, reclaiming. Doesn't feel good, but that's where things are at. Terror Turns to Madness is 0 cost. Weave Road is lost, also 0 cost, and gives us a little fear. This gives more fear in general, or at least at this point in the game. I like it. Swarming Wasps is like the Lightning Dream card. It's a shame that it's burned on River. Call to Bloodshed, totally off. I mean, not totally off element. This is like a weird draw for River, right? This is not something you like want to see on River, but 1 damage per Dahan is really nice when you have Dahan movement. I still think the fear is the right move here. And now we want to be able to grow to 4 card plays over the next turn. So either this turn or next turn, we are going to take a downturn. If we do 3 this turn, we can do 3 next turn, or we could do like 2 this turn, so we can do 4 next turn. So we definitely want to do Boon of Vigor, and that's the one that we're going to gain with our Reclaim one next turn. Flash Floods, like, that just full clears that land. We don't have the range. Well, we do have the range because it'll be 2 away. once we get this little boon. So I like Flash Floods. And then we just need any water card. River's Bounty giving us a little bit more. Kind of nice. We don't have a good answer for this or for this. Okay. Neither of those are coastal. We were probably playing Ellie Boon. Call the Deeps is very good for us. And if we play something that's, let's see, Swallow the Land Dwellers gets immediate value here. That seems quite good. Okay. And we do have the slow to fast lets us use massive flooding to solve one of these two lands. Okay, I think this is a good enough line. Let's get some fear. Elemental Boon. We definitely want to gain 1 fire, 1 air. We have the water, so we don't need it. And therefore, the third option is whatever we want. And I think, unfortunately, whatever we pick is not going to give us like an additional threshold of anything. Let's just grab like a water. Call the Deeps. Solves this immediately and starts getting us a little energy. This is taken care of. Flash Floods we could use to destroy this town, or we could use to tap this to just not have to think about it. Well, this is already taken care of. So I think we use Flash Floods, which we don't have the range. Definitely do not have the range to do that. Okay. Let's re-pivot this a little bit. Exaltation of the... Okay, getting to push the Explorers is the strongest part of this effect. So, who wants to push first? These are already taken care of. This Thundering Destruction is already taken care of. So he doesn't really want to push anywhere, oddly. I guess we can... No, because even the Well, the Explorer you'd rather die in the Ravage, so he's going to skip. And then River... Let's push... This out. Maybe it goes into... I guess this land. Okay, and we have 1 slow to fast, which could be River's Bounty, or it could be Massive Flooding. Boon of Vigor goes over to Lightning. Flash Floods can't destroy that. Somewhat inconvenient. Let's use it here. And then Call the Deeps we can use to just pull Explorers. Well, that's already going to die. Okay. That means we want to use Exaltation to push one of these Explorers into here instead, which is a little bit different than how we did it. So this we skip, and then here we push that into there, which gives us the Call the Deeps target. Flash Floods goes there. Boon of Vigor. And then Thundering Destruction. Okay, and Massive Flooding, 2 damage, push up to 3 Explorers or Towns. I think we're pushing it out of this. And let's push them into here. Okay, and the only thing I've left is Gift of Living Energy. River's on 5 energy, that's like more than enough. Let's toss it over here. Okay. We're not doing any defend, so this is kind of a perfect time to use this if we can afford it. Let's see. So it's going to cost us how much? We have 1, a single. So it would cost us 11. I mean, we are very energy rich at the moment. You know, river could easily toss 3. Do we have anything that we don't mind discarding? No. I actually think that we might have to do the top option. Ooh. How are you? I guess we did steal a lot of your Dahan. So we need to add a blight to a land without Dahan. That's gross. I guess here's the best option? Doesn't feel good. Explore doesn't affect coastal lands. Okay. And triangle trade, we're adding a town. I guess we can add it here. That seems the most likely to not cause major problems. Okay. And now we need to do our France town additions. We don't have any easy places that are just like about to take damage. So let's go. That's not right. Okay. Here, here, here. Let's go there. Add it onto the land with the beast. Add it onto the land with the beast. Okay. Swallow the land dwellers. Got a target there. Sorry to that Dahan. And we can do a range 0 town drown. I mean, that might be... Since we only do have one target, maybe we drown this and just not drown the extra explorer. Okay. Raging Storm to kill a whole group of explorers. This seems like the easiest use because it full solves the land. Destroying a town. I like... Okay. I think this kills more explorers, but then you still have to think about the land because it will still have the town at the end of the day. This also might have been a good use. I think we were drawing into a major to solve that problem, though, is like the reality of where we are with that. River's Bounty. So this gives us a little bit of defend somewhere. We don't have any presence that's about to, like, ravage, though. Huh. Okay. I like grabbing that extra one, just start building up more Dahan. And now a town kill. Dahan movement. That will turn that into a sacred site, so it's a bit more defense. And then this, I don't think we have any good use for. Okay. Reclaiming and Lightning. Treacherous Waterways, great card. Wild and Explorer Control are very strong into France. That said, Sky's Herald the Season of Return, the Blight push, really good. And we have no destroyed presence, but I think River has a destroyed presence. So they could immediately use that there. It extends their river, and it lets us push a Blight. I mean, it's so off element and it's expensive. I think we're going to end up playing Treacherous Waterways, but let's see what happens. Okay. And now River, we are going to go here and here. And for Ocean, I think we are grabbing a major. Probably forgetting Animated Rack Root, but I mean, we'll see. And we're going to grab Boon of Vigor back. So River only has tier 1 of its first innate, but it does have Wash Away. And Wash Away we can basically use to like push 3 explorers out of a land that's about to build. Okay. Voice of Command is interesting, but you don't really end up with like in lands that are about to ravage, they have just built, and if they've just built, you don't have a lot of explorers, so Voice of Command is less useful here. Savage Transformation, I mean, it's fine. Focus the Land's Anguish has some like immediate use. You know, if we use it here, if we've got 4, like right off the bat, uh, we're not hitting the threshold on it. Thickets Erupt has like good range, which is, I guess, nice. Could use it here to remove the Blight. I mean, no matter what we do, we're not hitting the innate on any of these. I like Thickets. I mean, I don't like it, but you know what I mean. And we're going to get rid of Animated Rackroot. The range 0 restriction is very painful. Okay. Okay, and I think we're grabbing Treacherous Waterways. And we can play the whole hand if we want to. So let's do Lightning Spoon so that we can slow to fast some stuff. Okay, knowing that we can slow to fast whatever major Ocean gets, maybe Focus the Land's Anguish is not the worst pick. It would be the only card we played, though, which is, I hate that. But it would let us immediately kill off like 4 explorers in lands that are about to build. That's like potentially interesting. Savage Transformation. No, I mean, I don't think this changes our plan. And let's go Raging Storm, and we're probably just going to kill off all the explorers in one of these lands. And we are hitting destroy a town and or we're destroying a city, but not anything else. It's a little painful. If we get rid of Lifting Energy, we do hit that, so we can destroy a town and a city. So then we're hitting the nice stuff. I mean, Raging Storm plus Shatter Homesteads full solves this land. Thundering Destruction kills a lot of things in there. Maybe Wash Away pushes like 3 explorers out. Grasping Tide solves one of these lands, but not both. And then this is going to Blight, flipping us over to Blighted Island. Okay. We've got some good options. So we're self-targeting Lightning Spoon. And then I think we want to slow to fast River, definitely. We can push Explorers out of River lands. I think we're pushing out of here because it's about to build and it is the only river land that has Explorers. Put them into the Disease land. I will say, by the way, a mistake that I made is I put all of Lightning's presence in Sands. Don't do that, especially with Wind Lightning, where you need to push 2 explorers from lands every turn for the rest of the game. It just like isn't that common that you'll end up having things that you want to push out. I don't know, like these are all fine where they are. I guess we can push this into the land that's about to get Raging Stormed. Okay. Ooh. So this is going to do 2 damage and remove a Blight. And then this is going to destroy a town and a city. We could, if we dump it all into here, we full clear. And then I like that. I think there's something there. And we can also destroy this town. Okay. This has so many Dahan, it is much more likely to survive no matter what happens. So I think I'm going to Grasping Tide this. And then pound ships. Get that fear. We have one slow to fast left. I like washing away these two explorers out into here. I think that's a smart move because it's got the disease. Boon of Vigor passes over to lightning. Terror turns to madness gives us 3 fear. We're not close enough to hit the threshold that gives us strife, so we can't use it to like strife this city. Okay, if we wash away here, that leaves us 3 of our 3 jungles fully cleared. This land is not a problem. It's just an explorer town. We can solve that in a lot of ways. This land is town city, but it's like sort of in the middle of everything. I mean, we can drown the town here, so it's just a city. That's solvable. And then this land becomes our problem land where it has 3 towns, an explorer, and a city. Maybe we thickets it again, so it removes the blight, so we don't care. Like, we've got options. So I do think washing away this is the strongest move. And next turn, we will have the full River Innate online, and it will be slow to fast. So we could actually use it here, now that I think about it. Okay, yes, this is a very strong line. We're good. And then the one thing that I don't have is push an Explorer or add a Wilds. We don't know what's coming up between Mountain and Wetlands, so we have no preference between them. But I do think, like, there are lands that could come up, and we're going to just... I guess this is the only inland land that has nothing on it, so we're going to add a Wilds there. And it's Slave Rebellion, and I've forgotten it. If you're new to this channel, that's a very common occurrence. It is the thing in the game that I am worst at. So on every board, we get to kill a town to add a Dahan. So this is the easy one on here, because that stops that build. We have no good targets here. Quite unfortunate. But this land is going to end up dying anyway. I guess we'll add it like here. And then this land, I mean, that's a good use of it, as good as any. Invaders explore at +1 distance, that's fine. In each land with disease, 2 damage to invaders and 2 damage to Dahan. Stay winning. We're going to kill the explorers. It is always good in France to just make sure you don't lose from that. And we get a whole bunch of fear from that effect. Quite nice. Cities deal -1 damage during Ravage. So at minimum, this is now only hitting for 2. You can remove an explorer town from a land where it is the only invader. And we cannot remove explorers because of the France rule. So, I mean, I don't really... But we can push them, and we can push them into the ocean, right? No, because the reason that doesn't work is that Oceans says, like, for your powers, so the invader actions that are caused by fear are not affected by this. I still think pushing it out of here so that it doesn't build is great, right? We now have 4 of our jungles are cleared. This we know we're going to kill, so if we could push something into there, it doesn't work conveniently like that. This, I mean, I guess I would prefer it to be in the sands than not in the sands. And then, I don't know, it's here or... Yeah, I mean, we've got a little bit of a pocket built up here, so maybe we just keep that going. Okay, Ravages. Blighted Island. In 4 different lands with explorers or towns, replace a town with a city, or replace an explorer with a town. Replacing an explorer with a town is almost always your best option, because oftentimes that's going to happen anyway. And this happens on each board. So, this board, there's only 3. Okay, that's fine. This board is kind of clear, none of the stuff's up. Which, the reason that's the case is that we've been funneling so much support into Lightning, right? We've given it that, like, basically, I think 15 energy by this point in the game, so it makes sense that its stuff should be sorted out. So here, doing it to an explorer. Ooh, actually, that is not a good idea. So the reason that I don't want to do it here is that if I do it now, it will build a city, and then we don't get the full clear from the river combo. So, I mean, this land is already bad and it's already ravaged, so we might as well just like, you know, this is going to be a problem to deal with. We're going to have to figure out a solution to it at some point. It's not happening yet, whatever. Um, and then I likewise don't mind. Okay, what we have a town drown here, so we know we're going to kill a town immediately with this. And we have a tidal boon, so any coastal presence, which I have not been diligent about setting up. So this tidal boon is actually going towards pushing stuff that's not helpful. I guess I'll turn this into a town so that I can push it into there with the tidal boon before it gets hit with the full combo. And then we need to do one more. Might as well turn the one that's already strifed into a city so that we can eventually just add Dahan there, and it'll die next time a slave rebellion comes up. And here we only have 2 lands, so we don't have choices about where to go. That goes into a town, which is unfortunate because it means that we no longer full clear this. And then here, click on an invader. We have 9 towns left in the pool. We are only building in 1 land. So we're going to build 2 towns. So I think we can afford to just turn this into a town. Okay. Oh, and the little pocket we built out worked. Or not the pocket, the wilds. So good. Let's add a town there, a town there, and a town there. Now we have to add an explorer everywhere. We're about to ravage in the jungles, so we're going to add it to random jungles that already have Dahan. And I guess we'll put it, I don't know. There's only 2 choices. This seems better. Okay. Terror turns to madness, just gets us 3 fear. And we've already used the other stuff. Oh, we don't have a sacred site. So we could create a sacred site using Tidal Boon, most likely. Let's do that. That might be the best use of this. Or we could use it with Harbingers, which is the better use. Great. We don't have... Okay, Harbingers pushing 1 Dahan into there. No, we don't get fear if we do it that way. Okay. Tidal Boon. Push the city into there. Push a Dahan there. Great. And now Harbingers to push the second Dahan. The reason that we want Dahan there is it's already got the Strife, so we want to use it for the Slave Rebellion. And now Massive Flooding can push an Explorer or Town. So if we push something into here, it would die. But I think the best use is just like pushing that town into the ocean. And then we can drown. Let's drown that town. Okay. So, ocean is, or river is reclaiming. Carapace land, very strong. We don't use it this turn, but we could easily imagine using it next turn, like here or here. Totally off element. Territorial Strife, you know, good amount of damage. Lure of the Unknown, Explorer control is powerful. Pact of the Joint Hunt. We have like no defend among any of our spirits. So I think Carapace land is one of those, like, we will find a way to use this come hell or high water. Like, I'm not worried about finding enough uses for this power. And it crucially also has a stone. So eventually when we want to break out of the reclaim loop, where we like need stuff, yeah, I think this is, I don't know. None of those were great. I think this is like one that you'd never hate to have. And we have the full combo for here. Ocean is also reclaiming. I I don't like Thickets Erupt on Ocean. I mean, it targets inland, right? But we're never hitting the threshold, so it's just like 2 damage, remove a blight inland, which I don't know. Is that useful? I don't. I guess I could use it here immediately, so we don't have to think about that land. We do have 4 energy. Let's like grab a major and see what we get, maybe? Actually, let's go. Lightning should go first, and I think we're grabbing a minor power still. Rain of Blood is interesting. Portents of Disaster, a little bit of fear. Our fear generation is not the highest at the moment. So both of those are kind of good. I feel like fast fear is better than slow fear. Okay. And we have 7 energy, so we can play like whatever the hell we want. We can do like self-target Gift of Living Energy. We could target Ocean with Living Energy. We're like swarming in it. And then that gives us destroy a city and a town. So we could use that to destroy the city and the town that build there. That's kind of good. And maybe we are using the right innate Exaltation of the Stormwind, which lets us push Explorers on Ocean, so it can push these 2 out, or these 2, whichever it chooses. Like, the sort of like, don't want to have to think about one of those lands. Okay. And then in that case, we'd be using Lightning's Boon on here, so we could like push even more stuff into the kill zone with Wash Away before we massive flooding it. We could flash floods this land. We've got a whole bunch of good options here. So let's go back to this. Let's not be greedy. Let's grab a minor power. We're not that money rich yet. Pull Beneath the Hungry Earth is perfect for us. The reason that I picked that is that it is, where is it? So it does a little bit of damage, and it is just perfectly elements. It gives us some fear. Just like a very strong card for us. I think we want to pull this one. We do need a Sacred Site if we're going to play it. If we're going to play Thickets. So we're not doing it this turn. Maybe we're doing it next turn before the Wetlands Ravage. That seems reasonable. Okay. So this turn, we don't need Defend anywhere. Elemental Boon, I mean, we could get repeating Exaltation is nice. And we would also get an additional City Destroy. So that lets us full clear this land. I mean, I like Elemental Boon sounds good. I like the Explorer Gather. Just, turn off one of those lands. And then Swallow the Land Dwellers. I don't know if we get value out of. Let's do Pull Beneath the Hungry Earth. Yeah. And we get one other card play too. Tidal Boon. And now we're getting 2 fear. We're getting a City Drown. Yeah, everything's turning up. Okay. So you're getting a Slow to Fast. We once again don't have any good, Dahan pushes that we really want to do. So we're going to skip yours. This one, however, we're just going to push both of those into the ocean. Got our 2/3 of an energy. And we can... Sorry. We were playing Elemental Boon first, so that we can actually get all the benefit from this. So we need an air and a water. Now we're up to 5/5/2 and 5/2. We're perfectly good. So what does Ocean need one of? If they get a water, we get an extra fear, and it doesn't affect us on the drown side. Oh, we already did water, so we could do earth. Now we're hitting full innates for both of them. Okay, now let's do this. We skip the Explorer push. This Explorer push goes into there. And now we're going to do it again. Still skip this. And I guess push this into here. And then Lightning's Boon to give them like the full. And we can wash away something. So let's Flash Flood this. That's the easy move. Wash away, I don't know. There's nothing I really, because this is going to die in the Ravage no matter what happens. I guess we could just push both of those Explorers in so they don't build. Massive flooding, clear the land. Which I did this wrong. Flash floods needs to be used there to do the 1 damage to the city first. Which does mean we probably want to wash away these two into here to feed the ocean a little bit. Massive flooding to clear this out. And we're building a town, a city, and a triangle trade. So 2 towns out of this, nothing, nothing, nothing. 2 towns out of this, 2 towns out of this. So total 6 towns, and we have 10 in the pool. We are very, very fine. Boon of Vigor goes over here. Gift of Living Energy. River has so much energy that we're going to toss that to Ocean. And then Lightning can use 2 of its abilities fast. We are going to use the Fulminate to kill a city and 2 towns here. So we don't want to use that yet. We can push some Dahan. That might be useful. Raging Storm lets us, like, stop, like, not have to think about a land. Let's kill this town to create that pocket a little bit cleaner. And then I think Raging Storm is what we want to go next with. We can call the Deeps here to pull those Explorers out. 3 Fear from Ship's Pound. And then we can do something slow to fast as well. We are going to end up probably not using the full innate, unfortunately. 1 damage in a sands or wetland. I guess just like cleaning up explorers? Is that good? We could use... This is range 2, so we could use it there. Well, this is already solved by Thundering Destruction, so we don't need to, like, pre-clear it. Let's, maybe the answer is to use it here to get rid of an explorer in a town. I don't know. It's like there's not a ton of great uses. Just start cleaning this up. That could, well, actually, one of the few places we can't use it. I don't know. This is horribly inefficient, but you know, when you play 13 cards in a turn, you're going to be a little bit efficient with some of them. So River's Bounty. I guess there's nowhere that I really like want to pull explorers. We are several turns away from the next Slave Rebellion, so maybe we start thinking about that, but there's no explorers in River's lands is the unfortunate problem. I mean, let's just... Maybe we wait until, and we use this in the slow, whichever explores, that's where we add the Dahan to. Great. Okay. Bureaucrats. And on board A, build cards cause 1 extra action. Which of these is A? Here. So that's going to... Oh, cool. Build cards do stuff, but we don't have anything building. Okay. Add a strife to a town, city, and a land not matching a Ravage card. Each invader takes 1 damage per strife that it has. We could just full clear this city, because it already has 1 damage to it. Okay. I mean, good stuff's happening. I think we just do it to the things that already have Dahan in their lands. Oh, and I guess this had to go there. Each player adds a strife to a town or adds strife in a land with blight. We can strife out those cities if we wanted. I think our eventual plan is going to be to get some Dahan into here and make that a Slave Rebellion target. Let's do the same thing there. Oh. I forgot that Bureaucrats makes you add a town even if you, like, did not, like, truly have anything in the land. It's an unfortunate effect. Coastal Explorer. Adding an extra explorer. This has suddenly gotten like a little bit inconvenient, to be real. Okay. Let's do the easy Thundering Destruction. And unfortunately, we still need to like clear out some of those explorers. River's Bounty. And then, are there any? No, we don't have any good title boon targets. I guess we could use it here. And we don't have any ocean presence in places where we can drown things. Maybe we are pushing a town into a coastal land so that it can be drowned. Innovative new uses of this. And we could do that, right? We could push this town into here. I don't hate it. I also like preserving this pocket a bit. I think that is like a good thing to do. Yeah. Huh. Okay. This makes the most sense to me. We're going to push that into there because this is going to be a place that gets the full river wombo combo. And then we're going to go, this gets wasted, and then Harbinger's Dahan movement. We're several turns away from Slave Rebellion, but it is still probably a good idea to begin like putting Dahan into places that could have issues. So let's pop this into here. Okay. First thing I want to do is figure out how many towns are going to get built if I do nothing. So 2 towns, well, actually this would clear even if it blights, so we're fine there. 1 town from Triangle Trade, 2 towns, 3 total. 4, 5 from Triangle Trade, 6, 7, 0 out of this because they would die in the Ravage. So we're at 7, 8, 9. Nothing happens there. 10, 11, 12. And we have 9. So we do need to make sure that some of this doesn't happen. And I think part of that is just going to be that River is going to do the full combo into this. I'm gonna grab a major just to see what we get, because if we get something that's on element, like Dream of the Untouched Land could be used very effectively. Paralyzing Fright. None of these can be used at the same time as I'm hitting my full innate because I need to get 4 water, I guess, except for Dream of the Untouched Land, which could just remove 3 blight and 3 health worth of invaders. Not the craziest thing to use that in just like this land, so that we don't have to defend it, don't have to think about it. This is so expensive, but also we have 13 energy. I'm gonna take it for the moment, and we're gonna forget Terror Turns to Madness. Feels bad to do against France, but I think that is the right call. Okay. And then we're gonna reclaim. I don't think we want to grab a major quite yet. Call to Trade, usually very good, probably less effective now because we're getting not close to Terror level 3, but close enough. A little bit of defense is never bad. Slow to fast explorer movement, I like. Song of Sanctity. And let's start seeing what we're going to do. That gets us destroy 2 cities, and we get the explorer push from our lands. And then ocean, I think we're going to G3. We have 6 energy, and we're definitely playing 3, so let's grab a miner. Uncanny Melting, good elements for us. Dahan movement is nice. Cheap damage. I guess these are better elements, so we'll do that. And we're going to go, I don't know what coastal land we want to be in. We've had issues not having stuff to drown, so we need to start like being intentional about that. Push this in. Push that up. And then push that up. And I think we're just running all 4 of these. Okay. So, first things first, pushing explorers out of stuff. Exaltation first to ocean. Push those into the ocean for food. And then, I mean, I don't mind that either of those are there, so I'm going to skip them. And we don't get to repeat it. That said, let's now go Lightning's Boon onto here. And we're going to wash away these 2 into here. And we don't have a Sacred Site yet. So we actually... Okay, annoyingly, we have to do the Dahan movement as part of the spirit phase, so I do have to rewind all the way back to it. And we're going to push this Dahan into here. Now we have a Sacred Site that we can target massive flooding from. Finish playing cards. Okay. Lightning's Boon. And I think we want to wash away these into here. And then we can massive flooding to just stop all of that build. It would be more fear efficient if we did this later, but we would build a whole bunch of towns and it puts us into bad position vis-a-vis edge cases. So yeah, flash flooding, great. This board's coasts are entirely solved and its wetlands are solved. Now we need to start thinking about this, and then yeah. So Grasping Tide, just defend that, they'll die to the Ravage. Thickets, 2 damage to kill a town, and we're removing a blight so that we just don't have to think about that. And we have 1 slow to fast on lightning. We could use it to kill these 2 explorers. I think that's like a strong move. To me, that makes a lot of sense. There's no good town kills that like make a huge amount of difference. So yeah. And then we have fast explorer movement. I mean, I guess we could have... We're going to rewind a little bit to do push this into there. Okay. I also should just wash away these into the ocean so that ocean gets fed. That's like the more polite thing to do. Talking about being polite from my right hand playing ocean to my left hand playing river. But here we are. Grasping Tide to defend there. Thickets there. Kill that town. Remove the blight. Pound ships to splinters for some fear. Getting fairly close to terror level 3. We're also, 2 away from the stage 3 card. Stage 3 France, very spooky. That's just a ton of explorers all over the place. Even if you have like reasonably good pockets like we do, it gets very scary very fast. Flash Flood cleans this land, Boon of Vigor to give energy to lightning. And then we have one. I mean, I guess we could use this here in the slow, so that's nice. If invaders are present, one fear, and if the land is a wetland or a sands, remove a blight. We can use that. We don't have the range. Use that right there to just remove the blight. Farmers. On each board, 2 damage to Dahan in a land with towns or cities. The next normal Ravage becomes a build. We don't want to do that because then this gets a little out of control, as does this. So let's go top option. 2 damage to Dahan in a land with towns, cities, and Dahan. I guess. No, that's not. We want to go here because that's already taken care of for Slave Rebellion. And then on each board, add a blight to a land with at least 2 towns or cities. That's going there. This board has no invaders, by the way. And then here, we're blight cascading no matter what we do, but if we add it here, we don't lose presence. Yeah. On half a board's rounding up, add a disease to a land with both Dahan and invaders, do 2 damage to Dahan there. We're going to do this here because there are no invaders, so we can't do it. And I think if we do it here, that stops that build. That's kind of nice. Stopping this build is very nice, though. Each player removes an explorer or town, replaces an explorer or town with Dahan in a land with 2 or more Dahan. I mean, yes, please. We're going there. That town's gone. We can do it in the same land. Here. And here. Well, no, because that's going to die to a slave rebellion anyway. Those are dying anyway. Let's do it here. Okay. Cascading. Build in the coasts, which nothing happens, nothing happens. And these are both diseased away. Sands. Okay. I think we can add the town here because we're probably going to, kill a bunch of stuff somewhere, somehow there. We'll add the town there. And we'll add it there because it's already got that. And we can just add into like a coastal land that has Dahan. Okay. So, Swallow the Land Dwellers does have no good targets at all, anywhere. Let's see if maybe we can push something into a good target. Oh, no, here. It's a great target. And then let's drown that town as well. And we have 3 cities left on the board. And we're only 26 fear away. So, if we can start killing some cities. We don't have the range to hit this, unfortunately. So close. Just 2 away from this, 3 away from a sacred site. It is what it is. I guess the best use then is this land to kill off those 2 towns. Let's... Maybe we River's Bounty to just create more Dahan on this board. Okay. 2 Dahan dead. Or 2 towns dead. One other town dead. And then Harbingers to pull in some Dahan. I don't know, we'll add them. Push these into there. Actually, sorry. We're going to Harbingers to push these into here. So we'll defend that. That way the city dies in the Ravage. Okay. So if we fast kill this, we're getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fear. This dies in the Ravage for 6 fear. And we need 12 plus 9, 21 fear to get to the end. I think our strategy is just like play a bunch of fear cards and then try to fast kill the towns in the sands to stop them from building cities. And then next turn, we can fast kill all of these. Okay, and we do need to Raging Storm this so that we don't like lose. I mean, we're not going to lose to towns. We've got 17 in the buffer, but we do want to make sure that we don't accidentally cause problems there. Okay. I mean, Mesmerized Tranquility is very good in this land specifically right here at this moment, but we don't have presence there. But we do have range 1. Let's grab I feel like the push here could be really useful for just like pushing things straight into the ocean. So let's do that. I think we're going to end up playing a somewhat similar set of cards though. And let's do, it has to be something with fire. So maybe Call to Ferocity? Yeah. River, we are reclaiming. Let's grab another major. I mean, these are kind of interesting. Fragments of Yesteryear lets us just like destroy a city out of existence. It's kind of cool. I don't think we're going to take any of these though. And so let's do River is kind of like a little bit of like a massive flooding bot in this game. We need to get 4 Dahan into here so this is a sacred site so that we can target this. I don't think that's that hard with River's Bounty, plus maybe Call to Ferocity. We've got options. And we're reclaiming on Ocean. We have 6 energy. Let's grab a major, see what we get. Indomitable Claim is a very funny card on Ocean because it lets us go inland. Power Storm repeats are quite nice. You know, you can imagine like repeating Raging Storm. It's one of the best use, but like full clearing a land. Trees Celebrate Celestial Radiance. We don't really need, but it's not bad. Fire and Flood, oddly too expensive. Let's grab Indomitable Claim and just toss Thickets. Okay. And what do we want to do? We need to gather presence back into the ocean. So let's gather you back, and you back. Call the Deeps is nice. Elemental Boon gives us even more flexibility that we don't actually really need. Well, I guess Thundering Destruction full level lets us kill that. But we don't have the range on that. That was already the issue. No. Because we would also get repeating, so we would get +2 range with powers, so we would have the range if we're using Elemental Boon. I like that. I think that's very strong. And then Pull Beneath the Hungry Earth, Tidal Boon, and we are a water and an earth and an air away, so let's hit those. Okay. So, first we're going to have you push from your presence. I mean, I guess better to drown than to die in the counterattack. Oh, we want to be using Grasping Tide instead of Tidal Boon. That's not quite right. Or instead of Swallowed. Okay. I do think that we actually, for once, do want to push Explorers out. That's kind of nice. And we need to use Elemental Boon before. What a fun little lesson I've learned 7 times this game. And I think that we want to use it to get an extra Earth so that we get that better drown. Okay. Use this the first time. Now the second time we want to use it on River, which actually does give us range 2 to that sacred site, so we're all good. Let's push you into there. And I mean, I think that's fine to stay there. Okay. So now we've got Raging Storm. We have Thundering Destruction. City, town, city. And we still have like a bunch of fear before we can get the victory, but Grasping Tide to defend that. We do sort of need a solution to that eventually. That's fine. I guess we could wash away into the ocean. And then, what else do we have? Pull Between the Hungry Earth. We can do 1 damage. Okay. Tidal Boon here to push this out. And we'll spread those out. Handships to Splinters, get us our fear. Flash Floods, we can use to stop a Explorer there, Boon of Vigor to give the energy. I suppose we didn't actually need Lightning's Boon, now that I think about it, because everything that we wanted to slow to fast, we could. Let's put it onto River, though, and see if there's any like massive flooding that we want to use. I mean, I guess if we massive flooding don't have the range to do that, I guess we would have to... We need to get a bunch of Dahan into one of these 2 lands, so we can't really. Could massive flooding this just to kill the town. Huh. I do like Call the Deeps to just stop that build entirely. And then Nature's Bounty is the only one. We don't need that. Okay, destroy a presence and lose 1 energy. Choose any non-major card of yours, put it in play, use it and forget it, and discard everything from hand. I mean, sure. I think we're happy to do that. Let's seek to control it, and let's put Portents of Disasters in. Drop it there, get a little fear. Swallow has no good targets. Uncanny Melting just removes a blight. I don't know, is that... Yeah, I mean, we're never using that card again. Has to be 1 away from a Sacred Site. We don't have those. I guess we're just using it for fear. And then there, I don't really actually want to lose any of these cards. There's nothing good in the discard. Carapace Land. I mean, I guess we're probably not using it. Yeah, that's fine. Let's get that defend up. Disease doesn't stop builds. Remove a blight from a land with Dahan. Great. Gather up to 3 explorers or towns from a single land into a land with 2 or more invaders. And we have to do this. I mean, that's not a good effect for us. Remove an explorer town from an inland land. Great. We're going to remove the town. There's none here. We can remove that town. And I think we're going to hit a Terror level 2 victory when that dies. I guess we'll just like, I don't know, push you out of there. It doesn't really matter. We get the victory. Alright, this was my first time playing this combo. I liked it quite a lot. I thought it was very powerful. I think it also adds a ton of depth towards your decision making around what do you want to slow to fast, as well as what you want to draw. I think if I were doing this again, I would start thinking about grabbing more majors, particularly like River just ended up with so much energy. And part of that was that we got Gift of Living Energy on Lightning, so we might as well, you know, were basically throwing energy around all over the place. Maybe I should have sent that more off into Ocean than River, because River just was like swamped with energy the whole time. I also think that my presence placements on Lightning was very bad. If you're playing Wind Lightning, the fact that you can push 2 Explorers basically every turn means that you should have as many different land types represented so that it's always useful. I think that was like the biggest mistake, and like a lesson I'm going to take away from this game. Let me know what you think. Have a nice one.